Hello, this is David Cherry, and what I want to show you, what I will show you, is how to deal with manually assigned indexed arrays and the right way to get the first index, the last index, and the first element and the last element of an index array. And in the process of doing this, I'll explain to you why it is important. There's an old way in which it was done with PHP, but it's been upgraded. And so this is kind of the reason why I'm doing the video. Okay. So when we're talking about getting the first index, we're talking about a numeric value. And when I talk about getting an element, okay, I'm talking about getting the actual value of the element, okay, the value of the array. All right, and so this is getting the about getting the first index, the last index, the first element, and the last element the right way. And I cannot express or stress the meaning the right way enough. Okay. The goal of this video is to show you how to do it the right way so you don't have errors in the future. It'd be a good habit to do as I'm going to show you. Though it requires more coding, it's more efficient in the long run and will prevent error. Manually index arrays and how to create them. What we're going to do is we'll start off with our basic PHP opening tag, and then I'll put in my closing tag. Alright, and so you have the opening tag and closing tag here for PHP. And then what I want to do is I want to create a manually indexed array. So this is what a manually indexed array will look like. Okay, so I have to put in the array name. I need one here, and so I'll put the array name as people. Alright, and you don't want to forget this right here. If you do, you're going to get an error. Okay, and then I'll put this right here for the first index. Okay, you have to make sure it's in square brackets. Alright, and then you want to put a 0 there. Okay, and so that'll be the first index, and then you have your value, and your value will be right there, and you want to be sure you have it in quotation marks with a semicolon. And then the value, okay, since it's people, I'm going to put the first person's name as Tim. Okay, and then to make it a little faster in the coding, I want to do this right here. Okay, I never figured out why it's always doing that on this computer. I didn't do it before. Alright, and then now what I want to do is I'm starting the index at 0. You can start the index at like 2, 3, 4, 5, but we're going to do it the traditional way, and later on I'll show you why. Okay, so we got index 1, and then we put index 2 here, and index 3 here. Alright, and then we're going to change this person's name here to Sam. Alright, and then we'll make this name here Pete. And we're going to make this name Sue. Now please forgive me on my typing, but I have a hand problem. Alright, so now we got the array, and the indexes start off with 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now all arrays, if they're not manually assigned, when they're and you just do a normal array statement, alright, the first index is always going to be 0. So that's why I'm doing it this way. I could have like 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but we're not doing that. We're doing the traditional array. Okay, and then what I want to do is make sure I have everything properly correct. In other words, everything ends with this. Here, all the way up and down, everything's in quotation marks. I have all my equal signs. Have everything correct. Okay, here, there's an indexes, and make sure that every time you write down the name of the array, you put this right here. Otherwise, you're going to have an error. Okay. And then you create your basic for each statement or loop. Okay, so I want to do a for each. All right, and then do it like this. All right, and then for each dot people. So, all right, and you have to use people here because that's the array you're referencing. Okay, and then as, and then you can put anything here. You know, for the value, I can put for each people. All right, as anything. You know, but here I won't put value. Okay, because I want, you know, it's easier to remember. Okay. All right, so for each people as value, okay, then I want to echo the statement out. Put it in quotation marks. All right, and then for each people as value, I want to echo the value. All right, and since this is going to be done in HTML and not in the command line, all right, what I want to do is I want to put an HTML break tag in there, which looks like that. And now we're going to see how it actually looks when we run the code. And there you go, Tim, Sam, Pete, and Sue. All right, and if you remember, all right, Tim, Sam, Pete, and Sue. So that's how you create an indexed array, a manually indexed array. And so, anyway, that's how that part is done. Okay, now that I showed you what a manually indexed array is, now we're going to play with it to show you something. And in this instance, what I want to show you is about getting the first element of the array. Okay, now, as said earlier, okay, I got the array as Tim, Sam, Pete, and Sue. Okay, and you can see here that the indexes begin with 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, now I'm going to change the values of those, okay, and I want to say 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now that will not affect the output, okay, of the array, okay, but it will affect us if we're trying to get the first index of the array. Okay, so here's what I want to show you. All right, now to show you that it doesn't affect the output, see, it still prints out the array. Okay, now what we're doing is we're looking at getting the first index of the array. Okay, so if I do this right here, you see that the first index is Tim. So now I'm going to do comment this, okay, and I define a variable here called first IDX, okay, all right, and IDX stands for index, as I define, you know, for index, so I'll recognize it as index. So the variable name is first underscore IDX, okay. Then I'm using a built-in PHP function. All right, and it's using PHP 7 and above. Okay, I'm not exactly sure when it began to be used. Okay, but anyway, it's called array underscore key underscore first. Okay, and in this here, the array has a perimeter and it's people. Okay, and the reason it's people is because that's the name of the array right here. All right, so when I do that and I put it through, okay, and now I forgot the echo statement, so I need to put echo. All right, and then I'm gonna write down here a sentence. It has to be in quotation marks. All right, and I'm gonna write down first index equals, and then I'm gonna put this right here. All right, and you'll see it's going to show 4. First index equals 4. Oops. Now, you know why it does look like that? Let me show you. I didn't do something. My computer's a little slow. All right. The first thing, I didn't put a break statement there. Okay. you know, and I don't mean a break statement, but HTML break tag. Okay, I should have put a break tag there, but since I want it to look a little nicer, I'm going to put another break statement in there. Break tag, I mean. I don't know why I always do that. It's habit. All right. Now it looks better. So we know that the first index is 4. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring this back up. All right, you see it's 4. Now what if I change the index value to 1? Okay. There you go, the first index is 1. Okay, so this is important because what I'm trying to point out is this. When we're dealing with arrays, okay, especially when you're dealing with array that is a manually indexed array, as this is, you want to get the proper indexes. Okay, and so we have to use the array key first function to get the index of the array. So if I want to get the array, the last element of the array, okay, then what I would do is I would do this. Array key last. All right, and you know, so since I changed the value of it, okay, I guess what I want to do is I want to put last here. Don't have to, but that's a proper way to do array. Okay, all right, and then I go last index, and then I want to put the same thing here, last. Now let's make sure I did everything correctly. Okay, so the last IDX, okay, so I redefine my array name to match array key last, which will give me the last index number. Okay, and then I throw it through a for each loop right here. Okay, and what will it look like? Last index is 7. Okay, so this here, what I'm showing you is how to properly get the last index as well as the first index of an array and do it correctly with PHP. Okay, and that's how you get the first index and the last index of an array with PHP. Okay, now that I've already shown you how to get the first index of an array, now what I'm going to show you is how to get the first element of the array, that is the array value. Okay, so anyway, in order to do that, we have to have this here. As I already showed you how to get the first index of the array, that you'll need this right here. But what we also need to do is to add what I'm fixing to paste in here to save typing and time. Okay, this right here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to take this right here, okay, and I'm going to do this right here, okay, redo it. Okay, now these are commented out, okay, but to make it simpler for you to understand. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to define the variable name, which element, okay, you know, is what I'm looking for, the first element in the array, its value, okay, which will be Tim. I want to get the value Tim. All right, so I'll start off with this right here. Okay, I have to put everything in brackets like this here. Okay, first, okay, people, then Tim. Okay, then I want to put this part right here inside those brackets, okay, in order to get the value. Okay, so I get the array key first, then I put that in there, and people, and what that does, it gives me the index number I need in order to retrieve the value for Tim. Okay, if I don't put that in here, then I won't get anything. If I just put people, uh, you know, I could put people 0, 1, or whatever, but that is not the proper way because I want to get the first element of the array. So I need to use the built-in PHP function, all right, which is array key first. Okay, so in order to use that function and to obtain the value, I have to take this right here, this statement right here, and put it in. And so what I'll do is I'll copy it here and we'll put it in here. Okay, so now having done that, okay, first I have done two things. Okay, so I don't need this anymore, all right, because that was commented out. Okay, so what I need to do first is get the index, all right, using the PHP built-in function, all right, array underscore key underscore first. Okay, then I got to pass perimeter to that function, as I stated earlier, which is people, all right, and then once I've done that, then I have to create this variable for the first element. Okay, and the value of that is everything that you see here, which I have just explained. Okay, now what I want to do is echo out that statement. So I already got it commented out here, strictly to save time. And plus, like I said, I have a problem with my hand. All right, so this is what the code will look like to get the first element in an array. Okay, so that's how we get the first element in an array. Okay, so let's close this out. All right, and we're going to test it. And like I said, I want to get Tim running through. All right, and it says the first element is Tim, and just like I did the last time. All right, don't look pretty that way. I don't like doing that. Okay. Let's see why it looks like that. Wait a minute, look at it one more time. Oh, okay. I know why. It's because I had this up here. All right, to remind me what I was doing. All right. And so now we have it. The first element equals Tim. So that's right here. So that's how we get the first element of a manually indexed array. All right, that's how we get the first element of a manually indexed array. Okay, well, what if we want to get the last element of an indexed array? Well, it's basically the same thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this value right here to last. Okay, I'll put in last. All right, and since I've done that, I want to redefine the variable, okay, which is proper coding. So I'll put in last element here. All right, and then I've done that, I want to I have to copy this here because this is the variable that I'll be putting into the echo statement. I need this variable right here. Okay. All right, and then I want to make sure that everything's right. Okay. Okay, so all right, so this code here is going to give me the last element in the array. Okay, so let me show you how it will look. Now, well, let me do this. Okay, all right, just for fun, get last element of array. Okay, because that's what we're doing, and I just kind of like it to be there for fun. Okay, and then I'll put a break statement here. Not break statement, I mean HTML break tag. I always do that, I don't know why. Okay, so this is how to get the last element of an array. Okay, you have to use the array key first function first. All right, and then put in the value of the array itself will be the perimeter in here, and you can see it's people. All right, so we have to use that built-in function. But then after we do that, as I must repeat, okay, then we have to put that into these brackets here. Okay, so let's see how it looks for you. Alright, and see there, the last element of the array is Sue. And I spelled array wrong. Oh well. So that's how you get the last element of an array. Okay, now I'm going to build on that. Okay, and I'm going to build on that because we want to be able to show both the last element and the first element of the array. Okay, so we'll go back here. Alright, and I'll say get the last element of the array, properly speak that. Okay, that'll be that there. I want to put this up here just for fun. Okay, alright, and then we're going to say get the first element of the array. Alright, so we want to get the first element and the last array. So what I'm going to do is here, I already got array key first. Okay, I got the last variable here. Okay, so all I have to do is do this. So just copy the code here like that. Alright, I want to rename this as first. Okay, then I have to do first here. Alright, so I have my variables declared. Alright, for the first element, I declare a variable by using this, and then I define the value by this way here. Everything is correct. Okay. Alright, and then what I want to do here, I'm just going to bring this down here. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put first element here. Alright, and I need to put first here. Alright, so I have the variable first element here. I have the variable last element here. Okay, and I'll remove this HTML break tag here because it won't look nice. Okay, and so now I'm showing you how to get the first element of an array and the last element of an array. Okay, using this code right here. Okay, and let's see how it looks to you. Okay, see the first element of the array, get the last element array. The first element is Tim, the last element is Sue. Okay, and as you can see again here, the first element is Tim and the last element is Sue. Alright, I already had showed you how to get the indexes. Okay, so that's how you can get the first element and the last element of an array, and by that I mean getting the values, and that's how you do it. Now I'm going to show you the incorrect way to index an array, but the format's going to be different. Okay, and the format is because normally an array is indexed, it's not manually indexed. Okay, so anyway, to get the last index of an array that is not manually indexed, this will work. Okay, but it will cause a problem on an array that is manually indexed. Okay, in many cases. Okay, so what I have here is the basic code. You can ignore this right here. All right, but I'm actually showing you a file that I wrote earlier. Okay, and that is to get the last index in a way. All right, to get the last index in a way. All right, let me rephrase that. To get the last index the way it is done here, the first index must be 0. Okay, well, it's automatically 0, and the reason I put that here, okay, this paragraph here, these are HTML tags, okay, is because it's a reminder. Okay, now a normally defined array, okay, will look like this right here for people. I don't know why I commented that out, because that would probably not work if I didn't. I know it won't. Okay, so anyway, what did I do here? I gotta do this too. All right. because that was an empty array. I'm glad I went back through this. I didn't realize I'd done that. Okay. But anyway, so this is a normally defined array, okay, where you declare the array name here, all right, and then you have an array function which has 3 parameters, all right, and that's the values within the array, which will be Sam, Tim, and David. Okay, now to get the last index of an array that is in this format, okay, you would use the PHP count function, and you have to pass the perimeter of the array name to it. So the array name is people, and you'll pass perimeter here. All right, then you put a -1. Okay. Now what I did is I put a condition here, and the condition I put here is if the last index is equal -1, it means the array is empty. All right. Else it'll print the last index of the array. Okay. So let me go ahead and close that here. All right, and what I need to do is go here. Let me go back here, one there. All right, let me see, array last index. Okay, all right, so to get the last index of the array the way it's done here, it should be 0. So we see that the array index is 2. The last index is 2. Now I'm just kind of curious. Let me go back here and see what I did here that kept the for each statement for printing out the array. I must have messed up some. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't print out the array here. Okay, so the last index is 2. Now if I want to print out the array, okay, all I have to do is put out, do this right here. Okay, just to show you. I like using for each statements because it's better in the long run rather than a while statement. So anyway, I'll just go ahead and do this for each. All right. And all right, for each people, that's the name of the array. Always has to go here first. And make sure whenever you do that, you put that # there for each .people. Let me see what I'm typing out. Okay, there we go. For each .people as, okay. I'll just, I usually put value there, but I'm gonna go ahead and for each .people as a element. I'll put LEE for the element, okay, and then we'll write down echo. All right, and then we'll put the value in here. All right, for I have to use this right here. And we'll copy that because like I said, I have problems typing. All right. And then I'm going to put an HTML break tag there so it won't all be on one line. Okay, and that way I can see the elements in the array. All right, and since I'm doing this the way that I'm doing it, and I want it to be separate, without that extra, make sure it's on its line break there. Okay. I'll do this here. I'll put another one here. May not really be necessary, but anyway, just to be case. All right. So then, show you how it prints out the array. Okay. What did I mess up on? I bet I forgot to put. Oh yeah. No wonder. Right, so let me do this. I'll have to do this here. I have to put this in the echo statement. I'm sorry, I forgot about that, guys. And I have to do the same here. And the reason I have to do that is because it's within the PHP tags. So any HTML has to be encoded with double quotes and following a semicolon. Okay, in order to print these tags here, I have to print these out. And see, I almost forgot the echo statement there. Okay, so you're seeing live coding. All right, and it should come out right now. It should come out correct. So I have 2 elements in the array. The last index is 2. Okay, and the reason is because when you print out an array, the first index, which is Sam, is 0. It's because it automatically begins with 0, as I stated earlier. The second index is 2. 1, and I mean 0, 1. What is going on? Sam, Tim, David. Oh yeah, that's correct. 0, 1, 2. I'm sorry, I guess I'm just getting tired. So yeah, that's correct. Forgive me. So the last index is 0, 1, 2. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, that's how you get the last index of an array, and you know that will work. All right, but that's if you're doing it this way, it will always work. But if you're doing it on a manually defined uh, array, you know, where you create the indexes yourself, then you'll have to do it the way I showed you earlier. So anyway, forgive me for being tired. I guess it's time to go to bed. But anyway, that's how you do it, and just want to say thank you. And if you like this, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and let other people know about me and my coding, and because that's what I'm here to do. Have a good day.